Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, does he secretly fear the Clippers? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, our Dreamerspro Max premium community, premium platform is online. It's live. It's going to be one of the fastest growing sports online communities out there. It's a place where you can go start basketball discussions, start hot topics and debates, chat live during games, any single game going on in the association. You can consume original content that you're going to get nowhere else, to be quite honest with you, and do so many other things. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to click the link below and get 7 days of free access. So make sure you guys go and check that out and see what it's all about. So don't forget to check that out in the description below. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So this is going to piss some people off. This is going to make some people laugh. It's going to start a debate. That's what sports is all about, right? About pissing people off. So anyway, let me get into it here. So y'all know that last season, it was a heated kind of rivalry between the Lakers and the Clippers, right? And some of it was LA. Some of it was created by the league, to be quite honest with you, because every year they need a storyline. This year, going into the season, there wasn't a definitive storyline, but I think with the acquisition that the Brooklyn Nets were able to pull off by getting James Harden, I think now the thing is about Brooklyn, and they're now trying to find a storyline for what team is it going to be in LA. We know we kind of lamented the fact that, listen, why aren't the Utah Jazz being mentioned enough in the news? We saw how they were disrespected in the All-Star game selection. So I think the NBA is trying to figure out what particular team is going to be coming out of the West to kind of build up a storyline around that. You know, in the past, you had the Lakers or Celtics, all of these different things. So there's so many different things. Last season, though, for sure, it was the Clippers and the Lakers, right? Some of that was by the NBA's doing. Some of it was by Kawhi Leonard's doing. Coming fresh off a Finals MVP, having all the power in his hand at that point, could have signed with the Lakers or the Clippers or stayed with the Toronto Raptors, decided to go play with the Los Angeles Clippers, essentially drawing a line in the sand and say, listen, LeBron, I'm not coming to play with you. I'm coming to play against you. I'm coming to compete against you. And that's where the drama started. And then he obviously kind of twisted the Clippers' arms to go out there and kind of mortgage their future, all of their future picks, to go get Paul George, brought him in. And then it was like, okay, now it's the Battle of LA. We all remember opening night, Kawhi Leonard dropped his New Balance commercial with the sneakers, with the ring, with the crown dangling from the keychain. And then, the big game, Kawhi Leonard showed out. Paul George didn't play. He was the best player on the floor that night, scored 30 points and won the first game. Then you had the Christmas Day game, which was so exciting. Like, I think we all enjoyed it. Came down to the wire. Clippers ended up winning. Kawhi had like 35 points. You remember the exchange with Patrick Beverley and LeBron James, which was possibly where all of this kind of started from, right? Clippers took the first two games. Was exciting. Then LA bounced back. The Lakers, in this case, they won the next two games. The one before the shutdown, and then ultimately the last one that they won in the Orlando bubble. Now, for me, all season long, I thought that the Clippers were a perfect matchup for the Lakers. To be quite honest with you, I think they matched up very well with the Lakers. I think Skip Bayless felt that same way, and so many other people. That's the reason why all of us, not all of us, a good amount of us thought that, listen, these two teams are definitely going to meet in the Western Conference Finals, and that's why a lot of people picked the Clippers, because they felt they were a better matchup for the Lakers. And then they went into the Orlando bubble, and, the Lakers did their thing. And they made it to the conference finals, and we're like, we're waiting on you. Where you at? Right? The Lakers did their thing. They held up their end of the bargain, and the Clippers proceeded to blow a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets, in which they had yes, the Denver was a bad matchup, but come on, they could have won that series. If Lou Williams played a little bit better, Montrezl Harrell played a little bit better, if Paul George played like an all-star, they would have won that series. The fact of the matter is, all of those things didn't happen, and then Kawhi Leonard had a terrible Game 7, although he was carrying the team throughout the playoffs. Let's go look at the numbers. They lost. Now, Jalen Rose recently said on his show, Jalen and Jacoby, I think is the name of the show, on ESPN there, which I like. I like Jalen Rose. I like him a lot, actually. I like Jalen Rose a lot. I think he provides a completely different perspective to what a lot of these guys are saying. I really like Jalen Rose, and he's one of the guys that Kobe Bryant, the late and great Kobe Bryant, respected. He respected it because he said something like, Jalen, you know everything, but you don't give it all away. I think it was something around that, and I think Kobe trusted him. And I think Jalen Rose, given the fact they had a very interesting past, but Jalen Rose always has a unique perspective on things. And he said, listen, he doesn't believe that the Clippers blow a 3-1 lead if it was a normal NBA playoffs. He doesn't believe that the Clippers are going to blow a 3-1 lead, right? I think even Stephen A. Smith said after the firing of Doc Rivers, he thought that, listen, given the fact that it was a bubble, it was unusual circumstances, he doesn't feel like that would have happened to the Clippers had it been under normal circumstances. That if it was under normal circumstances and that happened, then he believes that Doc Rivers didn't deserve to keep his job. So he felt like they should have kept Doc Rivers for an additional year. So he thought he was fired unfairly, right? So there were those things, right? Then recently during the All-Star Game selection on TNT with LeBron James and Kevin Durant, they were going back and forth and making their picks. Then LeBron made a statement where he said something to the effect of, I think it was time to make a pick, and I think Paul George was still on the board, and I think he had a decision to make between either Paul George or Donovan Mitchell. And he said, "I'm going to pick this guy. Although we're enemies, I'm gonna go ahead and pick him." No, and he goes, "No, I'm just playing, but I'm gonna pick him, and I'm gonna pick Paul George from the Los Angeles Clippers and put him on our team, put him on Team LeBron." And everybody kind of laughed, like, "Oh, hey, you know, da, 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 da." And when he said that, it kind of made me think. And what I thought was, in the back of his mind, does LeBron kind of feel that the Clippers are probably the one team in the Western Conference that possibly has their number? That was kind of what I thought when I heard him say that. Now, if you go back and think about what Skip Bayless had been saying all season long last year, Skip Bayless said, and I think he believes it. I don't think Skip Bayless comes on TV and says things for shock value. I think every single thing that Skip Bayless says, he believes. When Skip Bayless says that he truly believes that Michael Jordan is the best player of all time, Skip Bayless will fight you. I think he believes it. When he speaks about Tom Brady, I think he truly believes what he says. I think when he talks about LeBron, he truly believes what he says. And I think when he said what he said about the Clippers, he truly believed that the Clippers would have beaten the Lakers. I truly believe that Skip Bayless believes that, because up until this point, he still kind of ridicules the Lakers, or LeBron said they have the cubic I can't even say the damn word, cubic zirconia ring or whatever it is, that it's not a real diamond ring because it was a pandemic ring and all of this different stuff, the bubble ring, and all of that stuff. Skip Bayless truly does believe that. Now the question is, does LeBron think that too? I think that, this is just my opinion, obviously, I'm not saying LeBron is scared of Kawhi Leonard. That is absurd. He definitely ain't scared of no damn Paul George. We all know that. So I'm not saying that LeBron is scared of the Clippers. No, I don't think that's, any one of these guys. I think what LeBron knows, that he'll probably never admit, but they know it, is that this team wants them badly. Like, the Clippers made no qualms about it. They wanted to play the Lakers. If you watch the Clippers play last season, their best games were always against the Lakers. Even this season, go look at the game. Clippers, I think, had lost almost all the games in the preseason. People were freaking out. The minute opening night came and they played against the Lakers, it was like a different game. Paul George went off, and I think he had like 36. That game hit like 5 3. They just got up and they got into the Lakers. And they won, and they just get up to play the Lakers. I think that's the team that they really want. It's like a dude that is like, it's like you can fight, right? You can fight. And you know there's another guy that can fight, but this guy, he really wants to fight you. So it's not, at a certain point, even though you have the skills to fight, you know how to fight, you know how to box or whatever it is, but that guy is motivated to the point where he kind of seems a little bit crazy. Right? And nobody wants to fight a crazy guy. Trust me. Right? You'd rather fight a guy that knows how to fight, but he's not crazy. Because the crazy dude might bite your ear. He might try to tear off your ears, bite your nose, rip off your lips. Because he's crazy. And I think there's that kind of aspect to this whole thing about the Clippers, LeBron, Lakers. I think there's something there where he knows that these guys are salivating to play them. I think he knows that. And there's no other team in the NBA, at least in the Western Conference, that has that type of animosity towards the Lakers and LeBron that the Clippers have. I think LeBron, deep down, he knows that. I think some Laker fans know that. I think Skip Bayless knows that. And I think to that extent, for LeBron to make that statement, I think is some type of acknowledgement to say, wait a minute, we're enemies. Acknowledging the fact that this team doesn't like us. And it's clear. It's clear. He even mentioned it after in the offseason when he said he couldn't believe that they blew that 3-1 lead and some people were chirping. The second, he also acknowledged that. So I think LeBron knows that. It's not that he's scared of them or LeBron can't play basketball. No. It's not that. It's that he knows that this team is going to give them 150% every single possession in a 7-game series. And they could lose. And he knows that. And I think that's the reason why LeBron may secretly fear them. Not to say that he fears Kawhi Leonard or anything. No, not that. I'm talking about the team. If we're talking about a team scenario. Because, again, to beat a team, you need a team, right? So I think that's kind of what's in the background, right? Not that, oh, LeBron is scared of Kawhi. I don't think that's what it is. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think that he secretly has fear for the Clippers in the sense that he knows that this team is gunning for them and they can beat them? They can beat them. At least 2 times last year, they showed that, right? So it doesn't mean that the Lakers can't beat the Clippers, but he knows that the Clippers can beat the Lakers. So whatever you guys think on this particular issue, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Again, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the next video that we have coming up on the channel. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.